Absolutely. And if I'm right, it's 1:19 Hawaii time and 12:19 a.m. in Ireland.
Woo! I don't think I can go that far, Lewis, but thank you.
Come on, you can do it. And I can and where my my wife and I, our sons are hanging out right now. I won't give it specifically, but if I'm correct, it would be 1:19 p.m. tomorrow there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She just told me 9:19. What do I know?
9:19.
Oh, a.m. 9:19 a.m. Okay.
Wow.
So,
That's
see,
tomorrow.
I took it the extra mile. I took the risk and I failed hard.
Okay.
Oh, wow. So, I'm having fun. You?
I am really having a lot of fun. Yes, I'm enjoying the day.
So,
Absolutely.
folks up, we only have three speakers left. What a way to close it out. We're going to bring up in a moment Alan Fountain. What? That's right. And then we're going to bring up Laura Worley. That's what I'm talking about. And we're going to bring over some guy probably nobody's heard about, 107. I know you haven't heard about that guy, but we're going to introduce him to you for the first time. And this is Hammer, Alan, Laura, Juan. Boom, 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 boom. This is going to be fun. So how about I'm going to introduce my own buddy here. How's that?
Perfect.
All right. So, Alan Fountain is a podcaster and blogger on geopolitics, pedogate, and, quote, 17Q, unquote, psyops and psychological warfare operations. Alan is of over 374 violations by his youth basketball coach and local juvenile judge. Wow. Alan coped with these adversities by confronting the demons head on. After decades of both successes and traumas, he eventually took on the Georgia legislature. Georgia, go figure. Of course it's in Georgia. The Georgia legislature to change the laws while documenting his journey in a blog of over 1 million views. In 2015, he became a whistleblower exposing deep state assets, blackmail bribery system, running politics. In 2018, he was covertly recruited by white hat Q agents to share his journey as a citizen journalist, where his blog was forwarded to 180 embassies documenting his decoding of the Q Trust the Plan operation. He shares his journey as a Q decoder, targeted whistleblower, and a speaker with over 50 podcasts and 100 blog articles. Holy moly, I'm out of breath with that type of bio. Let me bring on my friend, Alan Fountain. And unmute yourself.
Unmute.
I am unmuted. Hi, guys.
You're coming around loud, too. You're sounding good.
Awesome.
Awesome. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. It's been a while since I've seen you, Lewis. I'm going through withdrawal.
It happens. I get it.
I just had my 75th birthday, and I'm using Neumi. Isn't that amazing?
Well, I had my 125th birthday, so I can relate.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yes. So he's referring to shameless plug. So that's the Neumi skin right there.
That's what I'm doing.
It's incredible. I'm sure Robert will post the link below. So that's not why you're on here, but thank you very much. Alan, I know you've kind of gone through some type of transition process, and even in your mindset, there's been a lot of ups and downs. And I know you're open to exploring that with us. Sure. Or do you just have a subject that you want to talk about?
No. What I would like to do is I would like to direct people to how to go to I'll give a little 2-minute background and direct where they can go catch up on what I've done. And then I would like to talk to you about some of the things that we haven't talked about, some of the esoteric stuff. Like some things that I've experienced, some events that I've had with maybe LewisHerms, some esoteric elements that I never would have believed was part of our reality. A lot of your guests earlier had some conversations about different things about simulations, about timelines. These things are coming into my reality. So I'll touch on a little bit of that. But for those who might not know my background, he just read basically the thing. One thing I want to note about the law that I experienced and why it's very important for the public to get engaged locally is that these legislators are putting into the arbitrary language in bills words that basically are inverted from what we think they're doing. The bill that I did in Georgia, they basically changed the law that only benefited like 10 people to share a huge settlement and wiped out 99% of the population to benefit from a law, but they brought in a lot of victims. It was to change statute of limitations. So paying attention to arbitrary language in bills is very important. That's just one thing I want to note. But I would encourage people, if you want to learn about my background, he did a great reading on the introduction, but you can go to my blog. It's Georgia Families for Justice, but my link tree will take you to everything. It's Alan Fountain 11 at Linktree, linktree.com, Alan Fountain 11. But on Rumble and also on BitChute, you can go to Rumble and put in my name, Alan Fountain. It'll pull up about 125 podcasts that I've done, a combination with Lewis, Nicholas Viniaman, some on my own Fountain of Truth Media. And what I do is I go from the beginning, starting back where I started my blog in 2014. I covered the entire legislative process of how I learned that that we had a deep state geopolitical system. I tried to get justice my entire life for the crimes that had happened to me. And I went through every legitimate stage that a human would do, thinking that our old system was accurate. I went to the legislature. I tried to change laws. I found out that the entire legislature was scripted politics. I witnessed the corruption. It became very dangerous to me. In my blog, there's a video called Pedogate. It's an hour and 20 minutes long, the first podcast I ever did. But I went into that podcast and explained to Nicholas Viniaman my early beginning and also how they kidnapped me, took me and did a ritual where they pretended they were removing my organs. This is part of the MK Ultra operation where they traumatize individuals to keep them silent. So you can go and put into Rumble my name and you'll pull up these videos. But everything is available on Rumble and BitChute that I've done over the past 3 years. I document everything from a geopolitical perspective. I go into my blog, if you go there, I talk about everything, the Khazarian Mafia, the Senior Executive Services, every element, the Bilderberg Group, everything that I learned that was standing in the way of survivors getting justice. This is where I learned about the esoteric systems, which is the loose energy producing. When we talk about spiritual warfare, the very first article that I had written was called Spiritual Warfare or Dirty Politics. And this is when the gentleman from the State Department came into my life and ended up sending it to these embassies. There's something mysterious going on in my life that I haven't understand, but I'm very confident about it now. I used to be insecure about how did I get involved in this. I have been able to go back through my life and realize that this white hat operation or this biblical God operation has been in my life for a very long time. We talk about, this is going to be very way out there. We talk about timelines. There's a lot of esoteric stuff coming into my reality now where I'm learning the Truman Show, the simulation, the timelines, that we're on parallel timelines. I have been jumping timelines. This is going to sound very crazy. What it is the universe, there's something out there called the Adjustment Bureau. We saw the movie, The Adjustment Bureau. This Adjustment Bureau's job is to stabilize timelines. So go watch the movie and to kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. But over the last 3 months, I've been able to do have some downloads, some research where I'm beginning to understand timelines and the fact that we are on multiple parallel timelines. We are in a simulation. And the gentleman you had on earlier who was talking about that, I found him very fascinating, and I'm going to go follow some of his research. But this is some of the new stuff coming to me. But I've been following people like that are on other experts on these topics. So since we last met, this has been kind of my trajectory. LewisHerms and her group helped me detach from some some, I would say, spiritual attacks that were happening to me. Based on the work that I do as a whistleblower, a lot of this stuff is happening in the spiritual realm. And in the spirit realm, we talk about principalities, etc. And what's happening is this stuff is very much real. Lois was able to help me identify some of these entities that are in the interdimensional realm. I have had some personal experience. You and I did a podcast where I talked about some experiences I had where I had a Project Bluebeam experience. I don't know why God picked me to, or I don't know why the intelligence agencies or God or a combination picked me to have these experiences. But these experiences that I had are now coming out in our reality by other people explaining them from a scientific or physics term. The movie What the Bleep, I remember watching that back in the early 90s. So this was part of my reality many, many years ago, but I got pulled away from it somehow. And then I got back on that trajectory now. I'm back. I'm vibrating now like I did probably 20, 30 years ago. The trauma of trying to get justice was re-traumatizing to me. So I kind of got away from that ability to manifest our own reality, staying in the higher vibration, the fact that you can create your truth in your reality. And I'm getting back to that now. But the main thing that has changed in my life since I've been doing podcasts with the group regularly is these esoteric elements. I'm really confident that there are parallel timelines going on. I actually had an experience I've never had before, Lewis. While I was where I am now, I literally felt like that my simulation shut down. It was the most frightening, panicking, scary event where I literally like powered off. It was so weird. You know, it's the only way I can describe it. And someone new listening to me right now, they're going to say, who's this batshit crazy person? But the truth is that the more that I hear some of these evidences about the energy, frequency, vibration, the elements of Nikola Tesla, all of the Fibonacci codes, the sound, how everything about shape is a frequency, sound is a frequency, light. And I can look back and see over my journey how I've had these experiences, encounters that are validating. So my journey has been somewhat of God has placed me in these situations. Not we have podcasters out there and researchers. I've actually gone through these experiences and been a researcher and been able to talk about it. So this has kind of been a traumatic experience. In many ways, I can think I'm beginning to think it's a gift to have had that experience. One thing that if you go back and you listen to some of my podcasts, I'm changing my position on people that I may call bad or that I might have said they were a handler or this or that. There's people that have been in my life that I think God has put there, or that a coincidence. A lot of people say coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous. I've had some coincidental experiences throughout my journey where I've met people. I had an experience where I've never said this in public before, but I go back and I try to figure out how did these people come into my life. There's people that are prominent in the Q operation. I had a mentor that was Marilyn Monroe's producer of the movie When She Was Fired. He came into my life in 1985. We know how Marilyn Monroe, J.F. Kennedy play a significant part in this operation. This mentor, coincidentally, there's no way it could have been manipulated. It had to be coincidental God on that journey, coming from a spiritual perspective. I met this gentleman. He took me to Washington, D.C., where I was at the Watergate Hotel, and I think I was being probably observed by military or something. But I can go back and I can see how this journey has been a part of my life, going back 25 and 30 years. These are some things I'm putting in a book that I'm writing. Also, there's been experiences of people that I've met in Hollywood where I find these people to be very credible. I think that our world has been a simulation. It's also compartmentalized. Like a lot of intelligence agencies, they're compartmentalized, and there's millions of people or hundreds of thousands of people around the world that help hold the simulation together or help stabilize the timelines. and they only have compartmentalized roles. So therefore, they know a limited amount, where someone like myself who is experiencing every element, I might have miscalculated their intent or their role and given them more of a sinister. And the reason I'm coming to this narrative is I think we are going to all have to come together as a society and get away from blaming people in the past and take ownership for our role in creating our own reality, or what we might have had as a soul contract when we came here. And there's a lot of people in our life like that. Without their role in my life, I never would have had my experience. There's a duality in the world. So where we might want to call someone bad or negative, that duality had to happen in order to have your learning experience. And so these are some of the lessons that I'm learning from a different esoteric element now. And this is going to be my new trajectory going forward. Everything that I've done is real. I lived it. I've been on this journey for 60 years. I just had my 61st birthday. I've documented all of this, and I've documented that there is a deep state. There is corruption. This is factual. I am blessed that I was able to walk through it and learn these lessons, and I have it all in my blog. And you can get to where we are if you want to go read and follow this truth tour and these fine people that Lewis has put together.
Well, Alan, just real quick, I've been kind of part of your journey for the last year, and I know it's been a roller coaster.
Yes. For
you, and yes. I have to say publicly, you've come out of that tunnel and you're on fire, and I really appreciate the Alan that we're seeing today.
Wow,
very
thank
inspirational.
You,
and like Carol Maureen Friesen was saying, you're finding the diamonds in the dog shit.
Yes. Yep.
And I think that's a powerful example for all of us. So I thank you, brother, for that.
Wow, thank you, Lewis, for saying that. I appreciate it. Love you all. Thank you.
Right, you take care, Alan.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, Robert Imbraeli.
Yes, sir.
You have an amazing Telegram channel called Renegade Media.
I do have a channel called Renegade Media.
With all the things that Robert's doing, do you know what else he's doing for you over there, guys? He's actually, if I'm correct, you're putting up all the speakers and the links to how to get a hold of the speakers. Is that right?
That's actually Phoebe who's doing that behind the scenes. But yes, it is being done. But it is on Renegade Media on Telegram,
awesome.
Right?
Thank you, Phoebe. We appreciate that. But yeah, so guys, go to Renegade Media, and you don't have to track down all these links because they'll be all right there for you. Make sure while you're there, please follow Robert's channel. Also, Robert deserves it. He worked. He's kind of the unsung hero, but since I don't sing, that's probably a good thing.
And all the news stories that we cover, too, are there after our news show. And even some stuff that we don't cover, some things we'd like to cover, but, there's only so much time in a day. We put them there as well.
So let's talk about our upcoming format change here on what we're going to be doing. This is pretty exciting. So we do SBG News and Views Monday through pretty much Friday. You and Bruce pick it up on Friday. And it's been widely accepted and people love it. In fact, we've caught some, what would you call them, high-level podcasters pretty much just duplicating their information 2-3 days later.
Yep, we've seen that.
That was your investigation, actually, that came up with that. So it is what it is. It just means we're ahead of it by a long shot, which is good. So
we're ahead of some of the bigger names too. We're ahead of Gateway Pundit oftentimes too. Some of the bigger sites there. We pick up on stuff, a day before, and we think it's valuable and worthy of talking about. We talk about it, and then 2 days later, you see it showing up there. Like, yeah, we had this already. This is old news. Now, come on, let's move on.
Well, yeah, and one of the reasons why, guys, is just because we look for the text within the text. So it's like I say often, it's not what's coming out of their mouth, it's what they mean. And it's kind of the same thing when you read these news articles and presentations. Just pretty much ignore what they're saying and just what's their intention. What do they mean, or what are they hiding? And that's what we've discovered a lot. We're very proud of our program. So guys, right here on most of these channels that you're watching, because it is simulcasted, It will be on there Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern. Now, we do have a format change. We're getting a lot of requests for us to do some more interviews. So what we're looking at doing is we're probably going to be off on January 1st, which is a Monday, and we'll be back on target on Tuesday. But it looks like that we'll probably be doing news 3 days, and we'll in between those, we're going to do 2 heavy hitting interviews. So probably look something like Monday, news and views. By the way, we throw in humor. We try to keep the vibration up, keep people happy. We play some music, have what we call WTF moments, or as Robert would say, WTH moments. I guess I have a dirtier mouth than he does. In regards to that, it's pretty cool. So that'll be Monday, Wednesday, and then Bruce and you do something similar to that on Friday. And then every once in a while, I'm invited in as a guest. And then on Tuesday and Thursday, we're going to try to take 2 hard-hitting interviews, probably one mine, one Robert's, and throw them in between. And I think it's just going to be amazing. So
It's going to be hard to pick from all the guests we had today, Lewis.
Oh, it's incredible. It's incredible. So, but our transition is just going to be amazing. So this is part of the transition to greatness.
I would posit this thought on you, that this is probably the best lineup we've had yet on any of these Truth-a-Thons.
Yeah, well, it's fantastic. And regards, take all the names out of it and the lineup itself. The content
is
that has been delivered today has been epic, right? And from a lot of names that you haven't heard of. Yes, the big names, they brought it, which is fantastic. But a lot of names you haven't heard of brought you new information. So we're very proud of this. Fantastic again. Just thank you to everybody that supported this effort, and we're going to try to do this probably every 3 months. As I put Robert on the spot. All right, you know what? I love this next person, and the information she brings us. I consider her a friend for sure. She's definitely a friend of my wife's. She is a bright light, and she has gone through it. So Robert, how about you introduce Laura if you have a moment, and then I want to ask her a specific question based on a conversation.
I have to wait for her to turn on her camera before I can bring her on. There she is. Okay, good. Now I can set up the shot. Yay! All right.
Hopefully I did it right. I don't know.
Yeah, you did it right. You're looking great, Laura. I'm just going to put you up here real quick, and then I'm going to do a quick introduction because you deserve to be introduced correctly. So let me do that for you.
She has a long bio because she's done a lot. So you may want to find.
Oh, you don't need to do all the bio, no way.
No, he'll shorten it. And Robert's a master at that. You know what I do best, Laura, is I just put Robert on the spot and say, "Go for it." Right.
That's right.
So.
He's used to it. I
never complain. Yeah. That's right. At least in public. So our next guest is the amazing Laura Worley. You're going to love her as much as we do after you hear from her. She is a survivor of multiple generational abuse family monarch program of MK Ultra and SRA. Her grandmother was part of a fertility cult. Love to hear more about this. And was targeted to be trained in the womb as a child. She was utilized to be groomed later in life for her photographic memory abilities as a messenger. She's interacted with dignitaries such as, listen to these names now, President Nixon, Richard Nixon, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, and Kissinger. When she was in her 30s, she began to recall her SRA abuse and started therapy, which was not very helpful due to the skepticism from practitioners at that time. Eventually, she certified and trained herself in holistic modalities that would help heal her wounds. So she's a person who took the wounds, took a bad situation, turned it around, and now she's spending time helping others. And she is absolutely amazing. Laura, so good to see you here.
Nice to see you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Wow.
Well, I was worried today because I'm listening to everybody and everybody's super positive, and I'm like, okay, well, my message is going to be a little different. And Lewis seems to have some kind of intuition that I have something to tell publicly that I never have yet, and I tell it on his event. So I have totally went back and forth about saying something tonight, but I'm going to eventually. I'm going to get there. So anyway, thank you for having me on. I wanted to share a little bit about, I think everybody by now that has watched your shows have seen that I talk about the New World Order Army. I am just going to give an update on that. I am not really going to go into more about that. What I would like to explain to people about MK Ultra. MK Ultra, people know the general things, but what I'm going to share tonight is probably very few people know some of the things they do. Now, the military, the cult has come up with and is amazing at understanding the mind and manipulating it to use it in evil ways. And so they take children from in the womb. That's not just me, it's every survivor. They begin the training in the womb. And a certain kind of person who is foreordained to be a specific role in the Illuminati or specific things, they will be trained also in a different way. But what happens with them is they begin to be taught things that not all survivors are taught. And some of that is going to be incredibly evil and using the mind to manipulate others in a way that you may not know they can do. And the reason why I know this is because of the experience that happened the last 9 months. I put out a book to tell people how to really remove the programming and what the true programming of a cult member is. And it's all based on Luciferian ancient religion. It's all spiritual. It's not what you think it is. It's very well hidden, and basically it's the Kabbalah, tree of life inverted. And so they build a spiritual kingdom in every survivor that's to Lucifer. And they create parts in a survivor to be loyal, to do these evil things. I had no idea my book was going to get the backlash that I have gotten up until this very day. The Illuminati started sending in people to do sessions. Not all of them, I believe, came in to cause harm, but several did. And at the end of the day, I had ended up seeing many high up Illuminati in this short period of time that we call the Mother of Darkness. And it's one of the highest roles. You won't find an incredible amount of information on them because they're very hidden. So anyway, what took place is I started seeing this pattern. I'm sitting here helping them, and we started having this pattern come up, and this role, this title of Mother of Darkness was appearing. And I'm like, there's no way, God, no way in the world that I have all these people that have this role coming in on accident. And they were coming in to find out what I was doing, but they were also coming in to harm. And so over this 9-month period, they taught me a lot. They probably didn't wish they did, but they taught me a lot because they all had the same patterns. And what they taught me is they told me, and then I'll tell you how I know it's true, is they said that they were taught to manipulate another person's mind. So they could be having a normal conversation with you, and the whole time that little part of them that's called the Mother of Darkness would be implanting and sending information to your mind that to manipulate it, control it. Now this isn't just one. They're all saying they can do this thing. They can manipulate masses to cause emotions of anger or emotions of, violence. So anyway, they could also, let's just say they wanted to write you a story. They could send you an email or a text, and they can get into writing all this stuff, but in it, they're literally trying to program you. So this really great evil I did not know existed, and they are considered the right-hand man of Lucifer. So everything goes through them from Lucifer himself, and then it goes down to the rest of the people, okay? So what I did not know is the evil. Now, this is going to be something that will be incredibly hard to believe since I was raised in a satanic cult. I did not know this evil existed in any way, shape, or form to the degree I've had multiple attacks from the highest up, what we call the mothers of darkness, but there's like 13. They're kind of in charge of different countries. And anyway, the saddest thing that I watched, and this is what I wanted to tell everyone. I did talk to Lewis to see if it's the right thing to do, and he said he'd support me. So I'm going to say this. You know how I've warned everybody about how we needed to pray and make sure that survivors were not activated, including military, under mind control. What I had no idea what was going to happen since I last was at the last, I think it was in September, I'm not sure, conference or October. They did activate the Mothers of Darkness worldwide. So they've activated the highest possible in the Illuminati. There are a couple more that might be higher, but let's just say they're high enough. They all have been activated worldwide. And this is their mission. And I will give you why they have a mission. Because the cabal cannot exist unless they have the army of the survivors of MK Ultra. Okay, of all cult survivors. They cannot exist. They cannot do anything without people under mind control. That's why they're trying to get every person under mind control. They can't do shit. Now, what they did is because they're so scared, because what happened in the last 3 years is a lot of survivors started to wake up and remember that they have been MK Ultra'd, that they have been raised in a cult, that they are, was abused by Freemasons. They've started to wake up in the last 3 years. And what is scaring the crap out of them is that they are losing their army. So they took the highest of high, and this is their job. They have been given a job to take out, not screw around with, take out every single light worker, anybody that is helping a survivor, anyone that's talking about MK Ultra, anyone that's revealing anything about the cabal. They have been ordered to find them and take them out. That's their mission. And people might say, well, that's not going to happen. They can't. Well, if you don't have a close relationship with God, they can, and they will. So this is the positive, what I'm going to bring this to. We as a people must become the experts. We must become the experts at praying and using the power God gave us to defeat them. Because even though these people have come after me nonstop, and to the degree that it's been really bad. And do you know what? I invited God's army, we say the true Lord Jesus Christ, his army to protect us. And we have been protected, and we do pray over what they have sent, and we do destroy the curses and that kind of thing. But as a person that is public right now, or if you are helping a survivor under any circumstance, if you are helping to bring out information about the cabal, they will send things against you. They will send curses. You are going to be a target, whether you like that or not. So my suggestion to you is to definitely say a prayer every day and to clear out anything they could have sent to you to hurt you in any way, because you have more power than they do. But we have to understand that while it's wonderful to do all the positive things, we have to understand what we are in a fight with. And we are in a fight with serious people who are scared that they're going to lose their army, because they truly are losing their army, because so many survivors are waking up. And at the same time that I'm telling you this horrible thing, the survivors actually have an unbelievable amount of strength, wisdom, power to defeat them. So I am just bringing this information. Because I know I'll get a backlash out of saying this, but it's a warning really to all professionals and to those who are going against the cabal in any way. It's nothing to be scared of, but if we're professional prayers, nothing can hurt us, nothing can stop us. And we definitely will win the war, as you always say, Lewis. But that's what I wanted to say, is That's what we're up against. That's what's happening right now in the MK Ultra world of the insanity. So
it kind of goes along. In fact, my lovely wife and I only say lovely because she's right next to me, so, so she doesn't hit me. So my lovely wife and I, we have talked lately. Is we feel like there's been a darkness that has kind of been hovering as of late. And then I mentioned to you, I go, it seems like we're in that every time of year that satanic time kind of starts right after Halloween, or I'm sorry, right at Halloween, and then moves forward for a couple months. And I don't never like to manifest this stuff, but it's just something I've been seeing year after year. And this one, it feels almost like everything's coming at us at one time. I mean, I don't ever talk about this, but we've had serious spiritual attacks. It's not something I ever discuss on here. I've discussed it with you and a few other select people, but so they're coming after certain people,
they are.
And I've had many people warn me and tell me that we were one of them, but it just means that we're doing good work, and I have God's protection. I think it's important to a lot of people watching this channel. I think it's pretty split. You probably have, half would consider them Christian and half would not. But I think it's important with you mentioned a prayer that you found was very helpful to this stuff, or something that you say. And I think that's important to let everybody know.
All right. Well, the prayer, God will accept anything. But what we want to do, of course, is we're going to just ask that in the name of Jesus Christ, I revoke any curse, spell, hex, vex, anything that's been sent to hurt me, my spouse, or if you have a partner, my children, anything about my business, anything about my in the blood of Jesus Christ. Amen. That's as simple as you can get. Now, people can get really, really deep in prayers. I'm actually going to send you a few for my friend. She's really good prayer. But Dan Duvall, he has a lot of prayers. Amanda buys. You can go on their websites and get free prayers if you want. But what you want to do is you want to, before you go to bed, ask for protection. And this is what we do. We just invite because they won't come unless you invite them, because it's free will. And so I invite the true Lord Jesus Christ army to protect me, because I really need the army right now. So they show up and they protect. And the people that are attacking, they can't get through it. But there's a sense of, we know what they're doing, and we have found that they've been doing quite a bit. But God's protecting, and God will protect all of us. That if we come to Him and ask Him for help, He will not do it without you asking Him. Well, He might, but He usually obeys our free will. So
it's I think it's very important that people understand that this is a fight against good versus evil. It's very clear. What I see is a delineation now where it seems, which is a good thing, it seems like people are being forced to pick a side.
It is. Yep.
They're coming so blatant out with the satanic messages now, and then you have other people coming out exactly the opposite. So it's it's going to be darkest before it's dawn, and Laura knows how I always try to find the positive in everything. So she always hesitates. Here's what she's hesitant in putting out the message, but for some reason we always get it on my channel, even though I'm the one that tries to flip everything into a positive. So there must be some divinity in that. I would suggest.
Well, I mean, I appreciate your support through going public, really, with a lot of things I've said. So I do appreciate it, but I do feel like I'm supposed to say it. I've waited for a while, so this gave me a little push. And so, can I just read this scripture real quick?
Please do.
It's Ephesians 6:12. It says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." And that's the truth. We're not in a fight with another human. We're fighting with people who follow Lucifer, who've been overtaken by the demons. We are in a battle for good against evil. And yeah, we are definitely picking a side. And I do want you to understand that even though we see so much good, they're going after the kids, and the kids are picking witchcraft. It's not all of them, but a lot. We're even in Disney, there's not anything there's like a zillion Disney shows that have witchcraft in them. So they're hitting the little kids and making it like witchcraft is cool. So that's kind of what we're up against.
Yeah, and I think, we've been disclosing this spellcasting and witchcraft for a couple of years here, and I can tell you that people are starting to get it. They're like, maybe there is something to this. And us knowing and understanding that this stuff is real, what matters. But I would make sure, for me personally, I constantly surround myself with goodness in my thoughts, and even when I astray, I try to come back to it. But very important for me is I feel like I get hit daily, like side of my head will hurt or something's going on, right? And I just said, God, you've got this. Reject that, and that's it. And
that's great. That's casting it out.
It casts it out, and I feel very confident and comfortable with that. Laura, where can we find you, find your books, and all that stuff?
Okay, if you guys would support me in my podcast, which is Puzzle Pieces Together podcast on Monday nights. I'm very shadow banned on every single thing I did and do. And also Laura J. Worley is my website where, and it's pretty much Laura J. Worley on everything. So you'll find me somewhere if they don't shadow ban me. I even put the advertisement for your guys' show today, and they shadow banned it twice on Facebook. Like no one saw it.
No, I know.
Not a single person. I did it twice.
It's a miracle. We made it #1 Rumble Live today, and we were competing on and off with the InfoWars, but we still did it, even though we know we're being shadow banned all over the place. So we can, just like the voting, guys, we can break through. You just have to move forward as much as possible. Laura, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thanks a lot, you guys.
Have a great New Year, Laura. Thank you.
All righty, Robert.
Whoo, huh?
So, do we have another winner, Robert?
We do have another winner.
A winner.
Would you like me to reveal the name of the winner? Lisa Richards is doing such a great job. Ladies and gentlemen, drum roll please. Jamie Williams is our next winner. Jamie Williams, come on down. No, don't come down. We'll contact you.
And let's give out one more prize. I think Carol Maureen Friesen had a something to give out. Did you happen to see that?
She did, and I where did that go? I saw that. We were getting so many text messages today. Yes, Joe